Ask and you shall receive. The highly requested The Lord of Kombat series is back in its full 30-minute capacity. I hope you guys enjoy it. Princess Kitana is 10,000 years old now, but is considered young in her realm of Edenia and has the appearance of a beautiful, fine, petite young woman. Now, throughout the years, she rose to great importance, first as the loyal stepdaughter of Shao Kahn, then as his enemy, tearing herself away from his grasp and freeing her home realm of Edenia. Now, she also led an army into Outworld to combat any chance of Shao Kahn rising to power again. She was not going to let it happen. She wanted all the smoke. She wanted all the hands and feet to be put on Shao Kahn. Simple as that. She has shared a subtle love interest with Mortal Kombat's very own champion Liu Kang, even after he was murdered by the Deadly Alliance. Although she was loyal to Shao Kahn for most of her life, she eventually betrayed him and aligned herself with the Earthrealmers. Now, her betrayal was mainly the result of growing doubt as to the morality of her character and resulting feelings of guilt, as well as anger at the discovery of the truth about her past and her true father, the late and great King Jerrod. Now, prior to joining the Earthrealmers, she was cold, arrogant, and ruthless. I'm talking about a ruthless assassin who served Shao Kahn diligently. However, after meeting with Raiden and Liu Kang, man, this Wiener began to give way to all types of stuff. She began to give in. She gave in to kinder people, selfless people, and more noble people with beautiful personalities. Now, this led to her murder. By now, her corrupted mother, Sindel, becomes one of Quan Chi's revenants. After Quan Chi's death, Kitana and Liu Kang become Emperor and Empress of the Netherrealm. In Mortal Kombat 11, for those of you that don't know, the revenants of Kitana and Liu Kang are recruited by Kronika in her quest to restart time, joining her in her plans to erase Raiden from the history. A young Kitana is summoned along with various other combatants in the present are due to Kronika's plans with Raiden and the other fighters along her side, and blah 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 blah. You played the game, so you know, and if you have not played the game, go play Mortal Kombat 11 or watch the full movie story on YouTube. Now, after Fire Guard Liu Kang defeated Kronika and gained control of her hourglass, he and Kitana acted as the molders of the future after Raiden relinquished his title of Earthrealm's protector to the Shaolin. However, Aftermath has revealed this ending to be non-canon. Now, when it comes to her appearance, right? Even though Kitana is over 10,000 years old, she looks, like I said, as if she's in her early 20s. At times, she wears makeup, right? Just to look as bad as everybody else. She looks identical to Mileena when both of their masks are on, but when it's off, it's easy to see which one got the better mouth game, if you get what I'm saying. Mileena's flawed teeth is exposed as opposed to Kitana's beautiful face. Kitana's overall appearance throughout the series has been changed profusely. Now, by the time we get into Mortal Kombat 2 of Mileena and Jade, Kitana wore a simple blue leotard along with matching knee-high boots, long gloves, and a headband. That's basically what she looked like. I don't think I really need to go through all of her appearances because this girl got enough outfits to last a lifetime. I promise you that much. This is why Kitana is one of my favorite. They put a lot into her and she turned out to be a big old fancy pants. Now, when it comes to her character development, Kitana started out as an unplayable herald type of character called Kitsune. That was her original name. During the early development of the original Mortal Kombat game in '91, his inspiration at the time was the character of Princess Marquio from Jordan Mitchell's 1984 video game Karateka, you know? So John Tobias designed sketch Kitsune wielded a single monumental fan and was going to fit it in the story as Shang Lao's princess daughters, the spoil of victory for winning the tournament, who would betray her father after she fell for Liu Kang. Now, as Shang Tsung becomes a minion of Shao Kahn, when the story was expanded from Mortal Kombat 2, from which Ki Sung was renamed to Kitana, and made Kahn's stepdaughter, keeping up with the princess character idea, they decided that they was going to use it anyway. Like, all right, boom, this what we doing, this what we doing. Now, during the rework of Ki Sung, Tobias drew her brandish size, and when he presented the sketches to Ed Boon, he suggested that the character could earn a duplicate through palette swapping, and thus Tobias conceived a twin, aka Melina, that would inherit the size, while Kitana would instead inherit bladed fans. Now, according to Tobias, her original name Kisung was rejected for being Japanese and thus not compatible with Shang and Shao, who were both Chinese in origin, before the game's untimely release, because a hodgepodge of non-cynical Asian mythological hoo-ha. Anyway, another name, Katana, was also proposed but rejected as well. It was then the name Kitana was created as a combo of Kitsune and Katana that would sound generically Asian though. Feel me? Now, when it comes to more information about it, I'm gonna be honest with you. Kitana was one of the most popular characters in Mortal Kombat 2 at the time. It was the character that many fans used because of her combos, which always ended with a fan throw in mid-air during the early production runs of Mortal Kombat 2. Kitana became notorious and an unbeatable character, as her fan lift move could be done in such a way to completely immobilize the opponent in the corner off screen, allowing players using Kitana to defeat the opponent with a series of uncontested punches. Ed Boon claimed in the trading card for Kitana that it was amazing seeing people doing combos with her that he ain't even thought of himself. So changes were made in later versions of the game to eliminate that, as it tended to make the game unbalanced because she was just undefeatable at the time. Now, Kitana was supposed to be in Mortal Kombat 4, but was taken out in favor for new character Tanya. She was not, however, completely removed from the game. Her rendering was still used in Liu Kang's ending, and players could fight as her in the Nintendo 64 and PC versions via a cheat device. Now, a character port of her also exists as an unused beta element in revision 1.0 of the arcade version, though it is cropped from her trilogy ending. Kitana, however, appeared in fully playable form in the updated version of the game called Mortal Kombat Gold, which was released for Dreamcast. Now, Kitana was also supposed to be featured in Deception. However, it was decided that the storyline would change and have her captured in favor of reappearance of Jade, who has not been featured in many Mortal Kombat games, though Kitana is playable in Mortal Kombat Unchained. Now, we already know how she getting down with the powers. Kitana relies mostly on her steel fans in battle. You bring in the beef, she bring in the steel, and you gonna get chopped, if you feel what I'm saying. Although she is more than adequate in unarmed hand-to-hand combat, like she'll put hands and feet on you, she can use her fans as both a projectile and a melee weapon, as well as the ability to create large and small tornadoes with her Edenian wind magic. Now, she expresses her magic with her war fans. Kitana also has the ability to teleport short distance and long distance, and somewhat has flight to an extent. She can also throw her fans while airborne and execute a mid-air punch to counter other airborne foes. Now, this made her one of the most powerful characters in Mortal Kombat 2 and was subsequently toned down in later games in Armageddon. She can also teleport and launch herself forwards with a series of kicks to the opponent. Now, throughout this series, she has been shown to be more powerful than her evil twin Melina and has defeated her several times. She is also a very strong leader. She succeeded in recruiting Sindel back to her side. You got to give her shouts out for that, for bringing her mom back from the dark side and to be able to convince her of Shao Kahn's evil during the events of Mortal Kombat 3, and has done the same to Goro and Mortal Kombat Gold. Kitana got the lips of joy. I'm telling you right now, this woman got the lips of joy. Once she get to talking to you, she gonna sweet talk you right into whatever it is that she feel like she needs you to do. Simple as that. Kitana ain't playing no games out here. That's what I can tell you. So I want to say shout out to Kitana. Definitely shout out to Kitana, you know? Kitana also appears as a second character during the Malibu comic series. And before I give you the rest of this information, take a shot for every time I say Kitana and see how drunk you be at the end of this video. Now, Kitana, her story is slightly altered. She is still Princess of Edenia and daughter of Jerrod and Sindel, though she was already grown up when Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung killed Jerrod and seized the realm. Kitana is also under a spell induced by Shao Kahn that makes her forget her past life and believes she's Shao Kahn's daughter. She first appeared during the Goro Prince of Pain miniseries, leading a group of comprised of Mileena, Baraka, and Reptile, and is ordered by Shang Tsung to see Goro in Outworld after his mysterious disappearance. Now, during the Battle Wave series, Kitana started to rebel against Shao Kahn, though if she had restored her true memories is never stated. They never made that clear. But anyway, she basically forms an alliance with Kung Lao, Baraka, and Sub-Zero to do most of her appearances during the first issue, have her making plans to fool Shao Kahn's new army of undead warriors led by Scorpion. Now, unlike the games, Kitana has no interactions with Liu Kang in any issue. Instead, she has a closer relationship with Kung Lao, a fact Shang Tsung exploits without success. In Kung Lao's one-shot issue, Jade's retaliation with Kitana is also never brought up, and there's nothing indicating they are even friends in the comics continuity. So that should be telling you everything you need to know right there. Kitana is not a joke. She's not to be played with. She is most certainly not one of them. Now, Kitana's official measurements are 128 pounds, and she also steps in at 5'9". We almost about the same height. I'm 1 inch taller than her. Now, Ed Boon did describe Kitana and Mileena as the female equivalents of Scorpion and Sub-Zero, which is not hard to figure out. The series' two most iconic male characters with a fierce rivalry of their own. Now, when back in I think the year was, when was it? 2009. Yeah, Boon said Kitana had become one of the most recognizable Mortal Kombat characters alongside Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and the series' official protagonist, Liu Kang. Now, Kitana has a kiss of death fatality in every game except Mortal Kombat Reboot in 2011 and Mortal Kombat X. Kitana's iconic kiss of death fatality was inspired by the demise of the villain Mr. Big Dr. Carnage in the 1973, was it 73 or 74? 73 James Bond film Live and Let Die, adding that it was his favorite finishing move of Mortal Kombat 2 and one of the best examples of their attempt to combine violence and humor elements into the game. Simple as that. I'ma just let you know, man. Kitana is definitely a character and a force to be reckoned with. Prior to the release of Mortal Kombat X, John Edwards said that Kitana has remained his favorite character. In later games, Kitana did receive some special moves that have been typically associated with Mileena, such as a ground roll attack in MK vs DC and teleportation based moves since Shaolin monks. Now, by the time we got around to MK2, again, Kitana's costume during shooting was, for those of you that don't know, it was blue. So John Tobias created Mileena and Jade by altering the character colors to purple and green respectfully. So I wanted to put you on to that. The costume was a tailor-made swimsuit based simple costume that, however, presented some challenges for the crew during filming, such as the bottoms of the leggings being a bit too slippery for moves such as jump kicks and the tops having to be held up with rubber bands while the mask was taped to her nose to keep it in place. Now, Kitana and Jade's MK2 classic outfits for Mortal Kombat were jokingly described by NetherRealm Studios as swim party gear. Now listen, I'm gonna go ahead and put the development team up here on the stand. Let Ed Boon, John Voight, and John Tobias and the rest of the gang go ahead and tell you why Kitana is one of the best Mortal Kombat characters. So I'm gonna let them do that honors. I'm gonna go ahead and pop them up on the screen here in a second. Just remember, Kitana's fans during the production were actually made of a reflective paper material, and they were an actual person, Zamar's training fans. But yeah, let them go ahead and take over, and I'll be back with the rest of my commentary. Go ahead, Ed.
Well, I think Kitana was really one of the favorite characters from Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, I told you, Kitana's something serious. They not playing around out here, man. They really put a lot into her, and she came out perfectly. You know, and I'm gonna be honest with you, during the early production runs that they had of Mortal Kombat 2, Kitana did become notorious as an unbeatable combatant, as her fan lift special attack that we mentioned before could be done in such a way to completely immobilize the opponent in the corner off screen. Like, she beating the brakes off you in the corner off screen to where you can't even see what's going on, which was allowing the player to defeat the opponent with a series of attacks. Now, Kitana's second color in MK2 is gray. The color scheme was recycled from Chameleon in Mortal Kombat Trilogy. That's when Chameleon ended up getting that gray look. Now, during the early 1990s, there has been rumors, but there's also been a popular yet completely false rumor, I should say, regarding the supposed nudity or sexuality, a unique finishing move to use either by or against Kitana and Mileena. That was a very popular rumor, but guess what? I actually did see a finishing move that Shang Tsung did on Sindel called Sexuality, where he got behind her and gave her the back shots until she exploded. I actually saw that, so that's not a rumor. That's something I saw with my own eyes, and I was like, goddamn, what, like maybe 12 or something at the time? But anyway, by the time we get around to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, during the production of that, Kitana's costume is red to stand out from the blue screen. Now, Kitana's animality as a small killer rabbit is a homage to Monty and the Holy Grail. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, basically. So we get around to Mortal Kombat Gold, right? By the time we do end up getting around to Mortal Kombat Gold, the game marks the first time Kitana appeared unmasked for a character model. Now, in Gold, Kitana used a throwing weapon, which was, you know, she also used the flying blade, which is similar to Tanya's sharp boomerang due to the two characters' linked development history in the original version of Mortal Kombat 4, as Kitana was included in early development, as we mentioned before, but the character model ended up not making it in, which is shown only in Liu Kang's ending because the basis was created for Tanya, as mentioned. Quick recap, and is accessible to play on the 64 version of the game, like I said earlier, when using a cheat cartridge. Just wanted to give you that quick update for those of you that are just turning into this live video if you're watching it live. Now, by the time we get around to Mortal Kombat Deception, Kitana's body can be seen at the introduction of Deception, located on the stairs leading to the Solnado. Now, Kitana appears in the ending for Sindel and Ermac. You know, note that her character model is a blue version of Mileena from this game, so that's what that was. By the time we get around to Mortal Kombat 2011, Kitana is the most seen female character in story mode, as she appears in all chapters but 3, which was, I think, chapter 12, chapter 13, and chapter 14, I believe. Now, when Kitana performs her X-ray moves on female characters, her fan blades will go through the skull, but when she performs it on males, the blades will not go through the skull. However, when her X-ray move is performed on Goro, Kentaro, or Shao Kahn, the blades will go through the skull. The cutscene of Kitana's non-canon ending, in which she forms an alliance with Jade and Mileena, is a reference to Charlie's Angels. Now, Mortal Kombat X. Kitana's main costume, notably less skimpier than usual, was created to be different than the previous games. So developers over at NetherRealm Studios stated they wanted to come up with something exciting and fresh for her look in Mortal Kombat X. Past incarnations have tended to favor the royal qualities of the character over the warrior aspect. So they basically decided to reverse that for her costume. She had a stealthier, more ninja inspired design with blue as an accent color against the black parts of her costume. And I'm gonna be honest, her alternative costume is more in the style of her previous outfits, if we gonna be that honest. Now, Kitana's costume from the Samurai Pack DLC called Jingu Kitana is probably based on Empress Jingo, a legendary Japanese empress and Onibushi, for those of you who don't know, a female warrior who commonly fought alongside samurais. That's basically what it's referencing to. Now, Kitana had a chance to appear twice in Mortal Kombat 2 Premier Tower, appearing as herself in a variationless form, and the second in a secret fight as her mournful variation to represent Jade. With that being said, Kitana will mention Kintaro during the interaction with Goro. Also, Kitana's arcade outfit is never seen in story mode. This is also the same for Kung Lao, Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion. Those are a few other things that I did notice. Now, Kitana is also one of the 2 characters to receive 2 Revenant outfits. The other is Liu Kang. Kitana holds the distinction of being the only character to be the ruler of 2 unmerged realms at once. You know, out very briefly and in 2 different forms, Empress of the Netherrealm and Kitana Khan of Outworld. So shouts out to her, put some respect on her name. Aesop, stop playing with her. Take a shot for every time I say Kitana, like I said, and see how far you make it through this video without getting drunk. Now, Kitana can use either her own weapons or those of Jade from previous games. Now, a telescoping staff and a gave throwing blade that is guidable in mid-flight, which means ain't no way you getting away from that. By the time we get around to Mortal Kombat Mobile, you know, Kitana is one of the few characters to receive an exclusive reskin not featured in the main game, which we should have got that. I hate when they do stuff like that. Kitana's classic card in the mobile games is the only classic card to be silver, while the others are all either gold or diamond. Shows how special he is. By the time we get around to Mortal Kombat 11, she has an interaction with Devora. Kitana claims she views the Revenant version of herself to be even worse than Mileena. That's just what it is. Now, in her interaction with Kung Lao suggests that she is now willing to call Mileena as her sister. This may be due to her policy of accepting all Outworld races. By the time we get to story mode, Kitana and Air Black are the only characters who only have one encounter between past and present, serves in a cutscene on one certain chapters, unlike both iterations of Kano. Now, not counting Sonya Blade and Raiden, due to the death of their future counterparts prior, Chronicler's Time Merger completion in Chapter 2, which was Kotal Kahn's chapter, Kitana is the only playable character in that storyline who never encountered and fought her future counterpart in her own chapter. That is very, very true. I just had to put that out there for y'all. When performing the throat slit brutality, the opponent will stand taller than Kitana after they are decapitated and before falling. This error is most evident when using the brutality against characters shorter than her, like Jade and Scarlet. That's just what it is. And don't forget either that she did appear in a lot of other games like Shaolin Monks and MK vs DC. You know, in the MK vs DC universe ending, Kitana was given Shang Tsung's abandoned island as a base of operations for her Edenian resistance fighters. She had it changed to a Beijing of beauty and light and named it Argus Land, essentially Themyscira of Edenia is what it was, you know? That's just basically what it was. But I'm gonna show you some of this cool art that was made by Dark O Productions of what she would look like in a PS5 version, which we will be getting at some point in the future, of Kitana. Check this out and I'm gonna be right back with you. Pay attention. Kitana, voice actress in the Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, was originally going to voice the character in Mortal Kombat X, but she bowed out of the role due to her pregnancy with her second child at the time, leaving Karen Strassman reprising the role instead. This would lead to Gray officially voicing the character proper 5 years later in 2020. Kitana is mentioned in Injustice 2 by Raiden, who is featured as a playable guest character alongside Sub-Zero. He only mentions her in a mirror match, referencing her current status as ruler of Netherrealm, while the duplicate Raiden states she rules Edenia with Liu Kang in his timeline. That's just basically it. They got this whole timeline thing going on. Now, WWE Diva, or I should say former WWE Diva, AJ Lee, dressed as Kitana during a Halloween costume battle royale as a homage to the original character. So I think that was pretty dope of AJ Lee to do. Kitana is pretty much a very big deal, a very, very, very big deal where I come from. So I just want to give her flowers. She is definitely eligible for her flowers. Simple as that. But listen, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this right now so you can already know. This bombshell baddie is definitely a force to be reckoned with. She's like none other. She's been in every single Mortal Kombat game that has been put out there. Simple as that. And remember, in the first timeline she lives in Edenia, the second one she lived in the Netherrealms, and the present one she's in the Outworld, and she's been an Edenian, a Revenant, and then right back to an Edenian. That's just what it is. Now, I know you are in love with her still, fans, so I decided to do you a favor. I went and found this awesome combo that she has, and I wanted to share it with you. So stay tuned to your screen because I want to see what you think of this awesome Kitana combo. Here you go. Enjoy. I'll be right back with you after the commentary. Tell you, those were some sick combos. I would love to go back and play that game. They just need to give us a remaster at this point because Mortal Kombat 11 ain't got nothing on MK9 or MKX when it comes to combos. But I want to pass this question off to you guys in the comments section below. Is Kitana one of your favorite characters? Sound off in the comments. I will be reading and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Subscribe, like, and comment. Peace out.